Welcome back to the FIM Supermoto World Championship. We begin the 2024 season in sunny Eastern Iberia. Welcome to Spain. Welcome to Albaida. This weekend, our competitors find themselves in one of the most picturesque parts of the Valencian region. Home to roughly 6,000 people, the beautiful historic town of Albaida is a great location to discover. Perhaps the most beautiful sight is the Palace of Mila y Arago, part of the town's rich history, which also includes the Segrius Museum, home to the works of master painter Jose Segrius. Great culture, great food, great atmosphere, all part of the Albaida experience. On our visit to the Albaida circuit, we've been lucky enough to be blessed with wonderful weather conditions. It's time to go racing then as the sun rises on the 2024 S1GP season. He's back. Our 2023 champion Mark Reiner-Schmidt has re-emerged with an unchanged game plan for this season. TM Factory Bike L30 Racing Team go for the gold.
So we are here in Albaida for the first round of the 2024 S1GP season. I'm happy to be the title defender for third time in a row. Feels great, and I had a good off-season after my injuries. Everything go well. I have a good rehabilitation and made really good steps with the team. We improved the bike a lot, the TM bike. I walked many hours with the team together on track. I walk for myself on my body condition, so I'm super happy to be here back on track. And yeah, it will be a tough season, I think, with Thomas Chaillet. Unfortunately, Lucas is not here. I hope he will come back soon, and we can fight like in the last seasons, all three together, because I like to fight for the win and not go alone. So yeah, here in Albaida, I will have my fun with Tom for sure and some of the Spanish guys, and then we will see what the season brings. I'm happy and I'm ready to go. See you guys soon on track, and thanks to the team for the great possibility to stay here for more years.
Onto the circuit de Albaida. On paper, this looks like a mighty venue for our 450cc fighting machines. Fast, technical, demanding. But let's not take my word for it. Time for a track guide with the legend, the 8-time champ, Thomas Chaillet. Nice new shirt, by the way, Thomas. He's got some news. He is now an SGR Grau Honda rider.
We are here after the start of the Albaida circuit. It's a very important part because it's after the exit of the off-road. So we have the tire with some dust in the first three corners. Is on the right side, and so difficult because so slippery after the off-road section, and it's very important part of the track because we need to clean the tires for take some speed for try to overtake another guys on the brake in the 5th turn. Here we are on the best part to try to overtake. Is the brake of the turn 5. We arrived in 4 gear. We put two gear less. We turn in 2nd gear, and we have almost 100 kilometers of difference between the brake and the corner. The most longer brake on the track, and you can try something here. Here we arrived in turn 8. It's a very difficult turn of this track because you are very long time on the right side, and we go down at the exit of the corner. You have some compression of the exit, and it's before the long straight of the track. So you need to take some speed for maybe try to overtake and don't lose some position.
We've seen him walk it. Now let's hop on board with SGR Grau Honda's newest rider at full racing speed. It's a short blast down to the first corners. All, of course, right-handers. 1, 2, then 3 right-hand apexes as he shifts up the gears and winds on the throttle. Now into that deep braking zone Thomas showed us. A big slowdown for this left-hand hairpin, where I'm sure we'll see a few big moves. We snake on through the tarmac. Some nice undulation here, as Thomas alluded to, and I think traffic management could be key during the race. Great camber out of the snaking section means a lot of speed onto the back straight. From there, through 2 more right-handers, and it's time to approach the edge of the world, only to leap off it onto the dirt, into something of a corkscrew with little margin for error. This is a very natural dirt section. All of these leaps and undulations feel organic. It's only 300 metres, but it's a section that requires full commitment. Also a deckhand with traction, as you can see. It's a section that's quite short, but it's a section you need to master to try and get a podium here this weekend. Through the last left, onto the straight. That's a lap of Albaida. Race 1 of the weekend then, and it's Thomas Chaillet on pole position. He's joined by Avia Cortez and Elia Sammartin. Row 2 is where we find the defending champion Mark Reiner-Schmidt, Cardu and Busai on row 2. Zalai, Huaro and Besires on row 3. Row 4 of the grid, Bonnell, Kivers, Kravaznik. We're ready to go racing once again then. The 2024 FIM Supermoto World Championship is finally here. The red lights will go on, and very quickly they will extinguish, and the racing begins. Who gets the whole shot into the first corner? Looks like Chaillet has a good start from the outside of the front row. He leads the way. Julen Avia Cortez, they're trying to get to the inside, but he can't quite make it work for him. So then it is Chaillet that leads the way. You see some of the others fighting for track space through the first corner. But it's Chaillet that leads the way from Avia Cortez, the new leading man for MTR KTM. Ferran Cardu drifting wide there. That allows Schmidt through, but Schmidt makes an error there on the curb, and Ferran Cardu gets back through for SGR Grau Racing. Of course, he's a teammate this year to Thomas Chaillet. Here they go then, going off the cliff edge onto the dirt section. Everyone being very careful on this first lap, and I can fully appreciate why. Ferran Cardu, we ride on board with him in 4th place. He's following the other Honda team's rider, Gaza Racing, in 3rd position. You can see there, Elia Sammartin. Good job at the moment, making it 3 teams in the top 3. SGR from MTR from Gaza Racing. Of course, Gaza and SGR both running these Honda machines. When was the last time we saw an FIM Supermoto World Championship race without a TM in the top 3? It was a long time ago, I'm sure. It's a very competitive order this season, and that's exactly what Mark Reiner-Schmidt is finding out there in 5th place. The 2 Hondas ahead of him doing Thomas Chaillet some favours as Cardu gets through. But the longer they can keep the German behind them, the better it is, of course, for Tom Chaillet at the front of the order. Elia Sammartin demoted then to 4th place by Ferran Cardu on the number 6. Mark Reiner-Schmidt laser focused on the rear wheel of the Italian's bike. There is Chaillet though at the front, the Frenchman. Made his first appearance on a Honda at Valentino Rossi's ranch in the 100-kilometre Heroes race. So great to see him back at the front. The 8-time world champion, wasn't even sure if he'd be back this year, mid-season in 2023, but he's back with a vengeance, with a new challenge, a new bike. He's taken to it wonderfully. Cardu and Schmidt have broken away from Sammartin. Avia Cortez running nicely in 2nd position, but he's well off the leader. Look at the knee down there. See a lot more of that around this circuit. It is quite fast and flowing. Through that corkscrew section, so easy to drift too wide there and just end up on that barrier, on that verge you see on the outside of the corner. We've got one sat up there. That's just a back marker trying to make way for Reiner-Schmidt. So careful through that bottom end of the dirt section. Looks like there's almost no traction there. You can see the riders almost just sat up waiting for the chance to actually be able to apply the throttle again. It's a distant second place right now. He's got a huge advantage to P3. He's also a long way off the leader, Avia Cortez, at his home circuit. Seems to be in a rhythm. Powers out of the corner there. Such a nice flowing part of the circuit. That camber really lets you get the power on early, deceptively early. Here's the fight for third then, and Cardew still ahead of Marc-Reiner Schmidt. No changes there. Schmidt is really having to fight for this podium. Ferran Cardew would love to make it an all. Oh, that's a big moment there. That's allowed Schmidt through then into third place. Cardew had to sit up there. Too much rear brake. Marc-Reiner Schmidt up to third position, but Cardew not letting it slide at all. Closing in, hooked to the rear of the German. There you see the gap from first to second, and now that Schmidt has gotten through, he's hunting down Avia Cortez. Not a strong superpole from Schmidt. Superpole went to this man, Thomas Chayer. It looks like the first win might go to him as well. Thomas Chayer has done it. He is the first race winner of the season, and that must feel amazing for him.
I'm super happy. Great race, good start. The amazing job by the team. Was difficult because change after 30 years on TM, pass to Honda, but now I can say I can win with another bike.
And how? What a slide there from Ferran Cardew. Our riders have clearly warmed up over the winter. Unfortunately, Cardew demoted to 9th for missing his noise test, so he loses 5 positions. Chayer, Avia Cortez and Schmidt, your top 3 coming out of race 1. 3 manufacturers on the top 3. Sunday morning. It's great to be back in the FIM Supermoto World Championship paddock. It's a friendly place, but it's also very competitive. I think everyone's happy to see each other again, though, after that long winter break. The local fans delight in welcoming the elites of Supermoto competition, and there's plenty of other action as well across the weekend beyond S1GP. In the Junior European Championship, reigning title holder Andrea Benvenuti wants to once again make an impression with MTR KTM.
Last year was talk, but this year will be even harder. My goal is to reconfirm myself, to be champ. This winter I worked a lot in motocross and at the gym with be more competitive.
But competition will be waiting in the wings, including Yevsevy Kovalyov on his Husqvarna.
I feel very good. This track is for me very good too. I will to be top 5 riders and I will to be a champion.
In the European Juniors, it was clear that we should anticipate a 3-way scrap this season as they went racing twice at the Albaida circuit. Swiss Nathan Taranio would take the fight to Kovalyov and Benvenuti, but it would be the latter, the defending champion, that would come out on top of the first weekend. 2 race wins then for the defending champ Andrea Benvenuti here at Albaida. A great start to his Junior Championship title defence. These young stars, no doubt the future of S1GP. Back to the present, though, and Thomas Chaillère wants to make it 2 wins on the trot at the start of the season, but he's got stern competition this time. Mark Reiner-Schmidt gets a good start, but he gets stumbled there on the outside line. He's on the unfavoured outside all the way through turns 1, 2 and 3, side by side with Elias Sammartin, and Mark Reiner-Schmidt at least gets himself up to 3rd, so he's in the podium positions on lap 1 this time. We ride on board with Ferran Cardú behind Elias Sammartin. It's Javier Cortez and Thomas Chaillère at the front of the order, though. Javier Cortez looking to try and challenge the Frenchman in the early stages of this race. He's soon going to have pressure, I'm sure, from Mark Reiner-Schmidt. Schmidt seemed really buoyant, really optimistic about his chances this season. That first race won't have affected him too much. It is just one race, and it was a fairly solid performance after having to start further down the order than he would have liked on the second row. And nonetheless, he's got some work to do here. Chaillère on the Grau Racing Honda. Gotten so accustomed to seeing him on blue and yellow machines. It's quite a trip to see the number 4 on a red bike. And Cardú getting into it there with Elias Sammartin. Did both riders stay up? I'm not so sure. Cardú, though, into 4th position. I think Elias Sammartin did just about keep the bike upright. Javier Cortez, though, running it wide, and that allows Mark Reiner-Schmidt into 2nd place. The world champion doesn't need to be asked twice. He's now going to go hunting for a certain Frenchman. Fast race, of course, just 15 laps in length. We saw earlier on the track guide it's quite a up-tempo, fast circuit here, so he hasn't got too long in the grand scheme of things. Here we see the pack further back being led by Roman Kuivers. Great scrapping all through the field. Top 10 feels like a tombola this year. You don't really know where everyone's going to end up. It's such a competitive grid. The likes of Lucas Hillbacker surely going to come back in later on as well, so it's only going to get better as the season goes on. Javier Cortez following in the wheel tracks of Schmidt again. So careful through that slick section of the dirt. Lap 7 of 15, half distance then in the race. I'm absolutely loving this Albaida circuit. Looks like such a challenge for our riders, especially that dirt section. Schmidt just slightly closing in on Chaillère as he works his way through the traffic, but looks like the Honda rider has control of the situation right now. Has been doing some racing already on this machine, and all signs point to a title challenge. 2 wins from 2 from Thomas Chaillère. 2nd place then to Schmidt, Cortez 3rd, Cardú and Sammartin rounding out the top 5 despite their little collision. Steve Bonnell working his way up to P6 on the number 3.
I good start, but Mark is past me, and I'm good. I'm very good. Good pace to race, and I'm very happy for today. I'm first rookie, and I'm very happy.
Well, there we go. Thomas Chaillère with a full haul of points. A point for Superpole. 2 25-point hauls. Can he make it a perfect weekend in the Super Final? Time for the last race then, and as you know, on pole position it will be Thomas Chaillère, Mark Reiner-Schmidt this time starting on the front row alongside Cortez, Cardú, Sammartin and Steve Bonnell 4th, 5th and 6th. Becerres, Kuivers and Poirot 7th, 8th and 9th position. Gomez, Ullman and Pernat rounding out the top dozen. The red lights are out for the super final. It's time to go racing. And what a start it is again from Thomas Schayer. He's getting these launches absolutely nailed. And once again, Mark Reiner-Schmidt out of the saddle a little bit through the first couple of corners. He loses out then to Avia Cortez, who sits in second place in the MTR KTM. What a great sight this is, the red versus the orange versus the blue. It's that primary coloured energy. It's easy to follow when the three teams have such distinct personalities and identities. And oh goodness me, Avia Cortez there. You can see him trying to get the power down early and really shaking the leg on the process of doing so. And look at that, going through goes Mark Reiner-Schmidt. That was very good traction that he got out of the corner there, over the rise, back onto the tarmac. Mark Reiner-Schmidt did that about as well as he possibly could. Schayer, though, has already built a good lead. Good, must be about 2.5 seconds. Cardew there in fourth place then. The second of the Hondas. Honda from TM, from KTM, from Honda. Grau Racing, I'm sure, will be smiling looking at the number of bikes they have up at the sharp end. All three of their runners in the top 10. Of course, the third of the riders is Tom Bisseriès, the French racer. But Schayer, their newest Frenchman, at the sharp end. Mark Reiner-Schmidt still working to try and find that time. You see him on the black plate rather than the red plate this year. Quite an evil look. I like it. Three-time champ, of course, now. Mark Reiner-Schmidt. I declared it at the end of last year. The Mark Reiner-Schmidt era. But certainly a twist in the tail is Thomas Schayer showing up with a new weapon. There you see some of the fighting further back. The 96 Roman Kivers on his Team Undici TM rather than KTM. Mark Reiner-Schmidt still on his TM as well, of course. Half distance in the race. He's not really getting any closer to the rear of Thomas Schayer as I can see. He is just building that cushion over Avia Cortez though. With one bike there pulled over, but I think that was someone a little further back in the field. Down through the corkscrew. Over the tabletop. Cortez is clearly working hard, but I'm not sure he quite has the pace edge over Mark Reiner-Schmidt. Has maybe gained a couple of bike lengths across that portion of the lap that we were on board with him, but it might be P3 for Avia Cortez this weekend. Schayer with just a couple of laps until he takes a clean sweep of the first weekend. We haven't seen this kind of form out of Thomas Schayer since 2020. He's come back resplendent. He's come back swinging and strong. Onto the dirt for the final time. And is Thomas Schayer going to take it? He's just a couple of corners away. He's a wily experienced veteran at this point. Eases it home and secures the race victory. Thomas Schayer has done it, and you can see how much that means to him. A rejuvenated Thomas Schayer makes it 30 points in the super final. Schmidt and Cortez rounding out the podium in that race ahead of Saint-Martin, Cardew and Kivers. What does that do to the GP results? Well, it means that the red plate will go to Thomas Schayer. Schmidt with 67 points only. Avia Cortez on 63, rounding out your top three ahead of Saint-Martin and Cardew. A good start then to the partnership between Avia Cortez and the MTR KTM team. Mark Reiner-Schmidt to the second step of the podium. Still a very positive start for him. But he's certainly got a challenge on his hands this year. The Schayer-Honda combination. SGR Grau Racing on top. Pedro Cuestas presenting the trophies. And the celebrations for Thomas Schayer, I'm sure, are going to go for a long time. Antonio Aliaportea presenting the red plate to Thomas Schayer. Fans have witnessed a rejuvenation.
I have no word. Perfect weekend. Pole, super pole, won all the race. With another bike. The team is like a family, thanks to all the people. And I'm very happy. I have no words. Thanks, everybody.
So happy to see him happy again. It seemed last year that maybe he was starting to lose that spark, but it's back. No longer a spark, but a flame. The number 4 will be the red plate once again when we head to our second round of the season, but Schmidt, Cortez and his teammate Cardu will be among those pursuing the French racer, the 8-time world champion, looking to go 9 times in 2024. But he's got a challenge ahead of him, as they all do. Round 2 is in Sardinia.